To all steps in planning process is going to be discussed in this video. Planning, definition for planning. Planning is a primary management function. The functions of management are planning, organizing, staffing, directing and controlling, and it is a first management function. Planning is a process of looking into the future. Planning bridges a gap between the present and the future. For planning, perception and creative thinking are essential. Steps in planning process is very important question the examination point of view for principles of management subject. The steps in the planning process are being aware of opportunities, establishing objectives, considering planning premises, identifying alternatives, evaluating alternative courses of action, choosing a best alternative course of action, formulating derivative plans, numerizing plans by budgeting. It is presented in the chart form. Being aware of opportunities, establishing objectives, considering planning premises. Then these steps are regarding the alternatives, identifying alternatives, evaluating that alternatives, choosing a best alternative. That is evaluating alternative course of action, choosing a best alternative course of action, formulating derivative plans, then numerizing plans by budgeting. First step, being aware of opportunities. So management should be aware of the opportunities present in the external market, and it should be an awareness of opportunities in the external environment and within the organization is a starting point for planning. Prevailing market conditions, strategies of competitors, customers' likes and dislikes, organizational strength and weaknesses should be analyzed. Planning requires realistic diagnosis of opportunities. The second step in planning process is establishing objectives. Objectives may be short-term objective or it may be a long-term objective. Objective means goals. So objectives should be set by the organization. Objectives for the whole organization, departmental objectives, and for individual objectives should be set by the organization. And it is very important to note that individual objectives should be in line with the organizational objectives. It should not be deviate from that organizational objectives. Individual objective of an employee should be in coincidence with the organizational objectives. So establishing goals or objectives is an important step in the planning process. Objectives should be established as a whole for the organization and then be broken down into departmental objectives. Employees should be given opportunity to suggest their ideas in the goal setting process. Third step, considering planning premises. Planning premises, the definition for planning premises is the expected environment in which plans are going to operate. Okay, it is an expected future environment. Expected environment in which plans are going to operate. This is called as planning premises. And the kind of markets in the future, customer taste and technological developments, tax rates, policies of government, competition in the market, growth rate of population, inflation are the examples of planning premises. The definition is, one more time I am telling, the expected environment in which plans are going to operate is known as planning premises. The assumptions about the expected environment is planning premises. A change in any one of the premises will necessitate an alteration in the plans. Fourth step, identifying alternatives. So after this step, after the planning, considering planning premises, the identifying alternatives should be done. Various alternatives should be explored in this stage. It is essential to find out all possible alternatives and their probable sequences. The main aim of identifying alternatives is to make the best decision. For example, if management wants to fill up a vacancy, should consider internal source, external source, employment exchange, deputation, past employees, etc. So these are all the various alternatives. You have to evaluate the alternatives and you have to choose the best one. Fifth step is evaluating alternative course of action. Evaluation means a study of performance of alternative course of action. Once the alternatives have been decided, they should be evaluated in the light of premises, goals, cost, quality, etc. As many variables are involved in the evaluation of alternative plans, evaluation phase would be a difficult one. Sixth step is choosing a best alternative course of action. At this stage, Manager selects a best alternative course of action, or select a best alternative which will be proved to be the best in terms of achieving organizational objectives. Seventh one, formulating derivative plans. And the next step in the planning process is to put the selected course of action into practice and develop its derivative plans such as policies, procedures, and rules, etc. That is, we have to convert that is selected alternative into derivative plan such as plans and policy. This is a seventh step. And the last step in the planning process is numerizing plans by budgeting. The selected course of action is converted into a budget. A budget is usually prepared for 1 year, or it can be prepared for a month or for 6 months. A budget created for whole organization is called as overall budget. Each division or department has its own budget. The sum of individual departments' budget must be equal to the overall budget. Thank you. These are all the steps in planning process.